Hello everyone, Happy New Year. Hope you're having a good 2025 so far. Just wanted to say firstly a big thank you to everyone who supported the channel in any way last year by liking, commenting, subscribing, tuning in to any of our videos. We're starting this year just by having a quick look back at 2024 in terms of the races we did, the experiences we had, the goals that we set, and then also looking ahead to 2025, the races that we've got penciled in the diary so far, and also the wider goals that we're going to be training towards. So a look back at 2024, firstly, the first goal I had was to take part in a backyard ultra, and January last year I went and did the Longbridge 100 backyard, which is a backyard ultra we've got here in Sussex. Really great event put on by Darren and the team. Very good community focus, strong environmental ethos behind it as well. That race I was using for a training run, a long training run, because I had a bigger goal later on in the year, which I'll mention in a moment. But there I did 15 yards in total. So just for anyone who hasn't come across backyard ultras before, you run a 4-mile loop on the hour every hour, 4.1 something mile loop on the hour every hour. And you basically keep going until there is only one person left, and that one person who is left is the winner. Everyone else is a DNF or a did not finish. So I did 15 hours there. It was a cold event, very dark, because we started off at 6 p.m. running through the night, but I did get to see some sunlight as the sunrise came up the next morning. And yeah, just really enjoyed it as an event. So that was my first event of last year, and first goal ticked off, the Longbridge 100 backyard. Moving on then to my big goal race for the year, that was the UTS 100K, the Ultra Trail Snowdonia 100 kilometer race out in the Welsh Mountains. That was probably still the hardest race that I've done in all the ultra marathons that I've completed. Just very, very different to what I'd done previously. Much more elevation, about 6,000 meters, very rocky underfoot, some challenging technical terrain. And it was actually quite hot, which is very uncharacteristic of the Welsh Mountains, but we had it up to maybe 27, 28 degrees. So trying to keep cool in the exposed landscape that we had was quite tricky, but very pleased to say got through that, got that one done. I finished in about 22 hours, I think it was, so well under cutoff, and I was just wanting to get a finish, so very, very pleased to tick that one off the list. Zooming forward to August last year, I actually had the opportunity to do another mountain race. So although my goal was to do one mountain race, I managed to get 2 in last year. And the other mountain race I did was the Swiss Alps 100. So Carla and I went out to Fiche, so a small town in Switzerland, and Carla did the 50k race. That was her first mountain ultra that she did. And then I did the 100k race there, which was very similar in elevation to the UTS 100k. Just a couple of variables that were different. It was slightly hotter, so a few degrees hotter, and also there was the altitude factor in there as well. So that was really good experience to get some experience of altitude in there, but also to be able to encounter those mountains, the amazing terrain out there. Really, really beautiful. We ran next to a big glacier, the Alesh Glacier, and managed to finish that one in, I think it was 20 hours 30. So again, well within the cutoff. That was about 28 hours. So really pleased to get through that one. In terms of other goals, so wider running goals, I also hoped in 2024 to complete my ultra marathon coaching qualification, which I've now done. So I've got my coaching qualification through UESCA, so the United Endurance Sports Coaching Academy, and I'm hoping over the next couple of years just to build up experience, I'm coaching a couple of people informally at the moment, and then maybe to branch out and do it as part of my work. So that was something else I also ticked off the list for last year. The other two goals that I had, the first one was to complete an LDWA event, so the Long Distance Walkers Association. Really great organisation, mainly, as the name suggests, puts on events for walkers, but they welcome runners as well. And they do challenge events that go all the way from 20 miles up to 100 miles. So Carla and I last year in September, we did the Surrey Tops 50 miler, which is organised by the Surrey division of the Long Distance Walkers Association. But that was a 50-mile loop around Surrey, so around the Greensand Way, around the North Downs Way. Very muddy. I had quite a lot of darkness for it, and that was Carla's first 50 miler, so she did a really good job there in getting round quite a tricky loop for her first 50. The final goal that I had for last year was to get to 100 park runs, and I managed to do that. So I did 38 park runs in total in 2024. And I also managed to run a 5k PB at one of them. So I knocked 3 seconds off my previous PB, and have now got a PB of 17:39. But really good to get some more park runs in. I think they're such an amazing thing for the running community, but also community at large as a whole, because it's a free 5k, everyone can take part. And yeah, just a really good thing, and I'm glad we got so many here in the UK, and lots near where I live as well. In Brighton, we've got 5 to choose from, so it's really good to have a range of park runs that we can be using. So 2025, what have we got planned for this year? Well, the races that I've got booked in so far, actually we're going to start off with something completely different. I've never done a race like this before. It's a 5k road race. This is going to be the Olympic Park 5k. It's up in London, organised by Run Through Events, and I'm hoping here to go for a 5k PB, so something under 17:39. If I can get under 17:30, that'd be even better, but to go for a PB, that'll be my first goal of 2025. Second race of the year is in February. It's going to be another road race, and this is my second goal of the year, to go for a 10k PB. So this is going to be at Chichester 10k. My current PB is at 37:24, so if I can improve on that, or even better, go sub 37, that is going to be my second goal for the year. Moving on from there, also in February, we've got the Southeast 14 miler, which is a race that Carla and I really like to do. It's organised by our friend Graham from Multisport Management. So we've got the Southeast 14 miler here in Sussex. And then in April, this is really my goal race for the first half of 2025 rather. I'm living in the past. So 2025, and that's the South Downs Way 50. So this is organised by Centurion Running. It's a race I've done once before, back in 2023. There I did it as a warm-up race for the South Downs Way 100. So my goal for it this year is just to try and have a stronger race, to run faster than I did back in 23. My race time, I think there was about 8 minutes 15 or 8 minutes 14. 8 minutes 14. 8 hours 14 rather. So that'll be my goal for this time, to try and run a stronger race, a faster race. And the good thing about this is, of course, it's on home trails. It's very near to me, so I'll be able to recce that a good bit. So that's April. Moving on to May, I'm going to be doing my first LDWA event of the year. So one of my other goals for this year is to do another Long Distance Walkers Association event, and that will be the South Downs Marathon. So that we've got in May. And then to round off the first half of the year in June, that's where I'll be doing Race to the King, which is a very well-known ultra around these parts, a classic. It's one I haven't done. It's always clashed with something else. So I finally got round to booking it this year. So I'm hoping to have a strong race at the Race to the King 50k, maybe go for a PB. I'll see what shape I'm in. But those are my races that we've got booked so far for the first half of 2025. So in terms of goals there, we've got 5k PB, a 10k PB. We've also got an LDWA event to run strong races at the South Downs Way 50 miler and the Race to the King 50k. And then just a couple of other goals that I'm also hoping to work towards consistent strength training and drills in my running and training. This was something I felt I really benefited from last year, particularly in training for the mountains, going out and doing lots of strength work. So keeping that consistent this year, and also to work on a better nutrition plan. I'd say in my racing, that my nutrition has been okay. It's been passable. It's got me through, but it hasn't necessarily been good or excellent. So I'm hoping to push it up and improve that this year. I think the big sticking point has really been my use of tailwind in events. I've now ditched tailwind, and the reason for that is just because I often find that I get to a stage in races where I'm just trying to get down as much water as possible. I feel that the electrolyte in tailwind is a bit aggressive. It hasn't been solved by trying to water it down, so I only use a third of a sachet in 500 mils. But yeah, it's just a bit too aggressive and has made me feel a bit sick at some points in races. So I'm going to be trying out precision fuel and hydration. I know a lot of people have sworn by this and it works well for them, so I'll see how I get on with it in my training. And also using Velo Forte gels and chews a bit more. I've got on with those well in the past, so just going to be trialing those out. So trying to improve my nutrition strategy this year is also going to be something that I am working on. So those are my goals for the first half of 2025. I tend to not like setting whole year goals, but thinking about it in 6-month periods. So the second half of 2025, I'll probably think about later this year, but I have got a couple of ideas, some things that I might like to do. And actually I want to get back to doing some more road events. I've not done a half marathon in a long time, a full marathon in a long time on the road. And I feel like I've got unfinished business there, and particularly with the marathon. I've only ever run one road marathon. That was the Brighton Marathon, probably 3 or 4 years ago. There my PB is 3:38, and at some point I would like to train towards a sub-3 marathon. Of course that would take a good bit of time, but yeah, it could be that later this year that is the time to do that. So I'll have more of a think about that, and then set some second half of the year goals later on this year. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a good week, enjoy your running, and I'll see you all in the next video.